Hi, I'm Paul Harvey, the editor of M&IT, and I'm here at the meeting show with Sammy Connell from NASUWT, the Teachers Union, and with Joe Austin from Lime Venue Portfolio. Hi, welcome to TMS TV.
Thank you for having us.
Fantastic. Now, Joe, you're a pro at this. You've been here before, but today we're talking about legacy. Now, it comes off the back of a session that you did at the an ABCO session at the Imperial War Museum a couple of weeks ago, where you talked about legacy. I was just wondering if you could tell us kind of what that was about and what we're saying about legacy at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Lime Venue Portfolio alongside ABCO, we're just looking at what events mean to people and how we can actually make events mean more to people. And as a portfolio, we are, we're very, very fortunate to have the most amazing of venues. But sometimes we miss the point of some of these unusual and unique venues. And then we got talking to people like Sammy and some of our customers, and through our ABCO connections. And it was actually, legacy is a huge thing for event organisers to actually make sure delegates and actually increase delegate numbers and give people another reason to be involved and get involved with meetings, conferences and events. But actually it's the impact beyond the meeting, conference and event that's equally important.
Yeah.
And some of the venues, the museums and the zoos, and there's some very obvious legacy, using the venue like the Imperial War Museum, the profits earned from this type of business within there actually goes towards making those museums free for children and everybody. The zoos, it's conservation, the sport, it's grassroots sport, but that's obvious legacy. But then we got talking to Sammy and some of her peers within ABCO, and it's so much more than that, Paul.
Okay, so Sammy, can you tell us about what is it then, if it's so much more than that?
I think it's about recognising that as an organisation, you're going to a city or a town where you're going to be there for a period of time, and what positive impact can you have on that community? Yeah. And I think it's about trying to understand the community in the first instance, understand the challenges that it has. Most third sector organisations and schools will accept anything that's free because funding is low. However, we flipped it on its head and said, actually, what do the schools need rather than what do we want to give them? What things do they need? What are they short of? What are the things that the community needs rather than this is what we're going to provide for you and this will be our legacy?
Yeah.
So we're very much looking at the needs of the organisations that we're working with. And then for me, it's about understanding what our delegates' challenges are. So as a teachers union, unfortunately, we do have teachers that are really struggling with the cost of living crisis and are using food banks.
Yeah.
So we know that's happening. Our members are telling us they're using food banks. So we have partnered with Tussle Trust and we now use them as our chosen charity. We have them at our events. We have virtual food banks. We have food banks we can donate food to. Some of our teachers take some of them items back.
Wow.
If not, they get sort of distributed to the local community. So that's a challenge that we have in our delegate sort of profile as it was.
Yeah.
But actually the community are having too. And the same applies for period poverty. We know that there's period poverty in schools. We know that teachers are buying sanitary products for their children. And actually they are experiencing period poverty too.
Yeah.
So we ask people to donate and we partner up with organisations, our kind sponsors, that actually tangible differences that you can make that the delegate can, it's relevant to them. They can relate to it. This is a problem for me and this is a problem for the local community, and what are the small things that we can do that will make a big difference.
It's amazing that we were able to do that. I mean, what's been the reaction to that then?
From the delegates or
from the delegates.
They're really, they appreciate that we understand their challenges in their schools. We know that that's an issue for them. We know that it's an issue, that it's a taboo issue in many regards, going to food banks. But actually we're saying we understand that, and you're coming to our conference, you're not alone, the local community, and some people are not using food banks but they want to contribute. So they'll heavily bring items. We have our conference at Easter. We have loads of lovely Easter eggs donated for the children that go out into the local community. So I think it's about looking at your profile, looking at the content. We know period poverty is an issue and we talk about it with government around the challenges that schools have. So actually bringing it into the conference as part of the legacy piece, it just makes perfect sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess kind of like that's not something that event organisers often have to think about then, is it?
No, absolutely. And so we've taken this on board about actually generating reasons and working with the right partners to actually make sure these are considerations. Long gone are the days of I need a room for 500 people and I need feeding. I need tea and coffee on arrival, I need lunch and I need to go home. Long gone are those days. And, many venues up and down the country, are doing some amazing things. I use a phrase an awful lot when we're talking, and Sammy and I kind of do this quite a bit of this together. But, I sort of say, there's a lot of people doing things that actually they're not even talking about. That actually they've got some amazing legacy strategies that actually they don't even call them legacy. And that is a wider question. We've often discussed this, Sammy, haven't we? What does legacy actually mean? So there's that wider piece around what is actually legacy. You'd be amazed how many great organisations work with great venues who do some amazing things that actually we don't talk about an awful lot, but we should talk about more, because that should be framing the choices for venue finding, for working with organisations. And as Sammy said, it's not actually about this is what we do, it's actually about what do you need, as opposed to, because I think there is an awful lot of I'm a salesperson, and there's an awful lot of this is what we can do for you, this is what we've got here, but the reality is we need to listen to what our conference organisers want and what their in turn their delegation are looking for, and we should match that up, and that's part of the big legacy piece.
Yeah, Sammy, you've just been announced as co-chair of ABCO. Have I got that right?
Yeah, correct.
Is legacy going to be one of your focuses?
Yeah, absolutely. Associations in particular, typically for, the good, or greater good, the medical conferences, the education sectors, all of those sectors are there for the greater good. Having a bigger legacy, not just bringing, education conferences together, but actually what's been left is such a big part of our jobs now. It's sort of a bit like the health and safety of the world. It's a must do, not a should do. I think one thing that I've learned through legacy is actually people think it's going to cost loads of money, and associations, member organisation, using members' money, spending it wisely is really careful. I think one thing I've learned is, an example that I like to share is, we had carpets for our exhibition in a really large hall that we had to use, and they could be recycled and we could work through that, or we could have no carpet. But actually what we decided to do was partner with somebody that would reuse those carpets in children's home, in third sectors, in shop corridors, places where there needs to be carpet, but it doesn't, it can be repurposed for a different use. So I went crazy and picked loads of different crazy colours, and I had all different sections. But again, that saved my offsetting. It saved all of my, in terms of I wasn't able to offset that. I didn't have to recycle that. It was reused. So actually it saved me money, but left a really positive legacy at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes you think of these things as separate, but actually they're often interlinked.
Yeah. So I guess kind of like for you, like legacy, it's a bit of a no-brainer.
Yeah. It absolutely is. I just think we're going somewhere. We're going to make a huge impact. When we leave, what are we leaving? Hopefully the place is a better place because we arrived, not in a worse place. And that's what we try and aim for.
Fantastic. All right. I think we can wrap things up there. But thank you very much for joining me. And thank you. And look forward to finding out what more you have in store for legacy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.